Hello everyone, welcome to this special tryout video. It's me, Catagon, your girl. Hello. Today I'm going to be diving back into the brand Holbein. Holbein is a professional artist brand, so it doesn't produce any entry-level or student quality colours or products. It is a Japanese brand and it has been around since about the 1930s. And I am so excited to bring you Holbein's Acryla Gouache. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to give these paints a go. Right, so I have been meaning to get these paints for such a long time now. They've been on my list and I consider myself to be very lucky to be able to get my hands on a 24 pack, not just a 12 pack, not an 18 pack, but a 24 pack. And you know me, I love grabbing packs when it comes to trying out new art supplies. I have been hankering for a new paint. I especially want to move on from the Acrylic Gouache that I have been using. I'm sure whatever this pamphlet has to say, I'm sure it has fantastic info on it, so damn. He's so cute. So yeah, I'm extremely grateful that I have the chance to use these. Like, you cannot understand how happy I am that I'm able to actually have these in my hands right now. Yep, you heard it here folks, I'm extremely thankful and happy that I have these. Anyway, onto the paints. I did end up having to purchase the 24 pack from Japan. They come in 20ml tubes and I'm going to be using my Arches hot press watercolour paper. Now I did end up doing a quick exercise on my iPad to get the colours down, what I believe is going to look good. And now I'm just going to clean up the edges of my sketch just to make sure it's neat and tidy. And since I've only used regular gouache, not acryla or acrylic gouache, I'm going to start with a basic outline of my subject, just to test how opaque it is when I start blocking in the colour. Personally, I find that this feels not really much different from regular gouache. It still has the same sort of consistency, although because of the quality of the paint, it does seem to go a lot further than the other gouache that I've used. You always have to play around a little bit to try and get that water paint ratio to make sure it's not too thick or not too thin, but I find a little bit goes a long way. Now, the paint actually stays wet for a decent amount of time, but if you do leave it long enough, it will start to clump up and yeah, it doesn't look good. So, very important note, use sparingly. And if you're going to be blending colours, blend while wet. You do have a window in there, it's not as short as acrylic, so you have time to work with them. Now, I have to admit, I did make a mistake here. I went in a little bit too thick with the paint, but hey, it proves the point. They are very opaque paints and very creamy, I find, as well. Holbein's Acryla Gouache, or Acrylic Gouache, is meant to dry to a velvet matte finish, and that's regardless of how watered down the gouache is. For instance, here, instead of going in thick like I did with the face, I'm now doing a very light wash over the rest of my subject skin. And then I'm going in with a second layer and just kind of evening out the skin tone, which was very satisfying. And while it looks matte and it looks dry, it is still a little bit wet. So I go in with a darker colour and I just use a slightly damp brush to kind of blend those two colours together. And it's so good. It's so like smooth and easy. Now with ordinary gouache, you can do this, but you do run the risk of shifting the paint underneath and then just making a hash out of it, essentially, which is what I have a habit of doing. Sometimes you don't want the bottom layer of the paint to lift and come free and shift. Sometimes you want it to stay put, or just have a little bit more grip, allowing you to get a smooth blend, which I believe is what makes Acrylic Gouache so special. You have a window of opportunity to blend these paints before they dry, because once they do fully dry, they are unmovable. So while it may look and act like gouache, it's far more permanent than ordinary gouache. Okay, now that you know how this paint works, I'm going to tell you a bit about the colours. Holy shit, these are so pigmented. These colours are out of this world stunning. I don't think I have ever seen a more bright and fluorescent paint in all of the 24 years that I've been on this planet. That blue colour just blew me away. Holbein Acryla Gouache doesn't shift in tone from wet to dry either, as you've probably already noticed. What you see wet is what you get when dry. A lot of other brands of regular gouache have been known to colour shift upon drying, and it's very disheartening when you put down a bright or deep colour only for it to colour shift to a kind of pale chalky colour after an hour or so. No such thing happens here, absolutely nada. These paints are the real deal. Holbein's Acryla Gouache just doesn't have the same fragile surface as a traditional gouache in gum arabic, and it's compatible with a lot of other water-soluble media. Because of its acrylic resin binder, its water resistance once dry, as I've said, allows for layering without the risk of any bleed through or lifting of the lower layers, and can be used on a variety of different surfaces. I accidentally got a little bit on my cardigan, and I can definitely say that it's machine washable. So, this is a very specific type of paint with very specific characteristics, and suddenly it's all coming together as to why so many people love it so much. I feel like this Holbein Acryla Gouache is one of a kind. It's creamy, it's opaque, it's matte, it's water soluble, it's easy to blend, it's permanent when dry, it's extremely bright and pigmented, it can go on tons of different surfaces, it's a be-all end-all paint. One of the best, and yes, one of the more expensive paints that I have ever owned. And honestly, I don't want to change. These are fantastic. Just a pleasant reminder that this is my first time trying these paints, and I have not tried all the different types of gouache in the world to know the difference between them all. But these are pretty dang good. Regardless of what I think, make your own decision. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, you know. I'm just hyping these up because I think they're good. You guys will just have to give them a go yourselves to see if they work for you and are the level of quality that you are looking for. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, don't forget to give it a like and maybe subscribe if you want to see more creative content like this. It helps me a lot to keep doing what I'm doing. And don't forget to check me out on all my social medias and follow me under the name @Catagonics. I love the outcome of this piece so much that I just had to frame her, and I hope to do more pieces in this sort of style with these paints as well in the nearby future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You take it easy, stay real, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!